Hi, I'm Andy Aledort. In this edition of In Deep, we will continue looking at dominant seventh triads and the way to connect them if you were playing in a typical 12-bar blues that's based on 3 chords. And the reason I'm focusing on this is because I find it to be an incredibly useful way to not only learn your chord shapes, your chordal inversions on the neck, but to incorporate those inversions, those shapes, those grips, there's a lot of different names people use, and incorporate those into the way your solo lines will fall on the guitar. If you have these things clear in your mind when you look at the board, you can't get lost. You're going to know what those notes are and how they relate to each chord as it comes along. And therein lies its usefulness. All right, now let's move over to the D, G, and B string. And we start with E7 right there. And we could play A7 like this, E, G, and C sharp. And then B7 would be like that. And just to change it up a little, we'll end with E7 here. So the idea will be, just as we had done before, the notes of the dominant seventh triad are going to be those points of emphasis or target notes as you play a lick. And then when you get to the A, same thing. And the same thing over B. E. All right, so here it is with the track. So you could see, even as I moved around, like I had my A7 here, and I did a little chromatic. You do the same thing on B. I try to use those target notes that come from the triads. All right, now let's move up again. We could have E7 here, which is where we wrapped up. And then we're going to use this for A7 and this for B7, just to switch it up a little. And then to really switch it up, instead of just going to a straight E7th chord to wrap up the progression, I'm going to play this really nice voicing. Many people call this the Freddie King chord because it comes from Hideaway. And what this chord really is, it's an E7 add 9, which is the F sharp note. If you just had these 3 notes, D, G sharp, and E, you'd have your notes of the E dominant 7th triad. But adding that 9th makes for a really nice sounding chord. So now I'm going to use those 3 shapes for soloing. right, so I tried one more time to use that same approach. If these are my dominant 7th triadic tones, I try to emphasize those tones, and then B, back to E, and then of course, as you become more familiar with these things, you don't want to be restricted by anything. So you could go from E7 there, straight to E7 here, to E7 over here, and then A7, to a B7, whatever combination. And use those different shapes to put your licks together.